that are descended from the Puritans. We have sought a pure church. We left, more than left, the State Church of Rome a long time ago. State Church of Rome had groups that had broken off from it, and originally the Reformers or the Reformation, they did not see themselves as non-Catholic or not part of the Roman Church. They saw themselves as people of the Roman Church. You know the Lutherans still see themselves as Catholics? They're the Reformers. They see themselves as Catholics, but they believe themselves Reformers. They were trying to reform the Catholic Church because once they got a hold of a Bible to read for themselves, when they were lost in the ignorance of darkness because they didn't have access to the Bible for themselves to read what God had said, they were subject to the authority of the church. And the powers of Rome simply told people what to believe. And as history went on, it just got worse and worse and worse. That's why it was called the Dark Ages. About the 500s, the Dark Ages in the Middle Ages, or the Dark Ages, began in the 500s. And they're called dark because the average person had become illiterate because of the invasions from the Germans, and then the Mongols had found their way all the way into Europe and had done amazing military devastation. And young people just trying to survive were not given an education. Civilization was destroyed, and these people without a proper education were not being able to read and write. And as a result of that, darkness began to descend upon the people, and a centralized authority of the church, or what they called the church, was centralized. That's when the authority of the Roman Catholic Church became something. And this guy entitled himself from the Bishop of Rome to declare himself the Pope or the head of the church, and they began to take on powers that God did not enumerate in the Bible for them. How many of you know the Catholic Church did not baptize babies until the 500s? 500 years of Christianity. 500 years in Rome, they did not baptize babies. But when the darkness descended because of ignorance and people being shut off from access to the Bible, they couldn't read the Bible for themselves, then all kinds of things began to change. By the 700s, the Catholic Church instituted a system called indulgences. Can you imagine 700 years, the Catholic Church did not have indulgences. So by the year 700, you began to pay the priest cash money to forgive your sins, called an indulgence. An entire theology began to develop, and they just simply told the people, this is the theology that you should believe, and don't ask questions. Always be afraid of people who say don't ask questions. You see, the God of the Bible is not afraid of you asking questions. He can stand up to it. If I say something that's questionable, question it. In charity, question. Don't be nasty. Don't interrupt the middle of the service. But if I say something you don't understand, come and talk to me. And I'll try to show you out of the Bible why I believe what I believe. But ultimately, you and I will all stand before God by ourselves. And we'll have to give an account for what we believe to God individually. I'll do my best to always be as right as I possibly can. And if I'm wrong, I will study it carefully and I'll see whether I'm wrong or not. And if I'm able to see if I am out of bounds or wrong on a scripture,